Good evening, everyone. My name is Tomas. It's my pleasure. I'm making a campaign to do that Oxnard School District. I couldn't think of anybody better suited to serve on our school district. So welcome, and I'm glad to hear all that enthusiastic applause because we're going to need that enthusiasm going forward. It's going to be a tough race. There are 3 incumbents running, and it's always hard to unseat an incumbent. So we're going to need help, and also we sort of drew the short straw and being the last on the list on the ballot. So we got to turn that into a positive, get the word out, make the last be first, okay? So we've got work to do. So there's opportunities to sign up, volunteers, we'll hear more about that in a few minutes. One of the things that I wanted to talk about though is one of the things that's going to be crucial in this election is voter turnout. They're estimating that it's going to be very, very low. And if we want to get good people like Dr. Ruby elected, we got to turn people out. So if the low turnout, it's usually almost a guarantee that the incumbent gets elected. Okay. I read a story in the I almost said the first period. But I read a story in the Star the other day about voter turnout. They said in the last gubernatorial election, Cavalry turned out more people than Oxnard. Oxnard 3 times as big as you can't afford that. You can't afford that kind of happen. Okay? So of course there's organizations that are out there working on voter turnout, but we as individuals, we all know 5 people who are not going to vote. Okay, and we should figuratively, maybe literally, slap them upside the head. Okay, that's going to be crucial. All right. Before I go too much further, I want to recognize a couple of some more candidates that are in the room. Jim Hensley is running for Waikiki School Board. Deborah Cordes is also running for Francine Castagnon is running for Oxnard. Okay, so there's plenty of politics in the house tonight, as you can expect. But again, I want to welcome you again. Let's really crank up and get this thing going and have it, especially in the okay? Okay, I'm now going to call out Robin Love.
I'm Robin Lefkowitz. I'm the president of the Oxnard Educators Association. And I want to say first that the Oxnard Educators Association is so proud to have endorsed Ruby for school board. When I heard that she was going to run, I almost jumped out of my seat. I was so excited. And I know that she will make a terrific candidate and a great school board member. We're really hoping for that. And I want to just reiterate what Dawn said about getting out to vote, getting your family out to vote, getting your friends out to vote. I'm not going to tell you to slap them upside the head, but I am going to tell you to pull them out there and make sure that they vote. So it's so important. Anything you can do to get people to the polls will make a giant difference. So everybody welcome, and we're very pleased to be endorsing you.
Okay, I mentioned volunteer efforts. Now we're going to have Doris Jones come up and talk to you about just that thing.
pleasure and my honor to be here this evening to endorse my good friend Ruby Durias. We've been together for, 2 decades, Frank? Something like that, since the doors opened. And I just wanted to encourage everybody to take whatever amount of time you have, if you could share it with Ruby. She has, any campaign requires phone banking, and that can involve just calling people that you know and telling them who you're voting for and why, and no big pressure, just let them know. And then posting a sign in your yard, that's really low key. Just have a sign, one of the signs that will be available, vote Ruby Durias, and a meet and greet. If you have a little more energy, a little more time, invite the neighbors over, get to know them, and help them to get to know the candidate. And finally, but most importantly, money. It's very expensive to run a campaign, and so any money that you can donate, I know Ruby would appreciate. And I'm looking forward to having Ruby represent teachers on the school board. Thank you very much.
And now to introduce Ruby, somebody that knows him fairly well, his sister.
Give me an R! Give me a U! Give me a B! Why? What's that spell? Ruby! Because she's radiant, reliable, and ready.
Hear ye.
U, because she understands the challenges our schools face. B, because she possesses beauty and brains. Y, she's young at heart. Ruby is a very special person. How do I know? As Don said, I'm her little sister. And she's also special in our family. Ruby actually holds a lot of first positions in our family. Things that have not happened in many families, be the first of something. She's the firstborn, the first grandchild, first granddaughter, first college graduate, first to hold a PhD.
All right.
I was included in her first two. I'm her little sister. And I was also one of her first teacher's assistants in the classroom. It was over at Marina West. She was in 3rd grade, I think, at that time. First year. I was newly married, hanging around. And so I had a little something to do, help my sister out. So I go to the classroom as those teachers' aides at that time were just volunteers in the community and some parents. But I wasn't a parent, but I had a sister who had need. She needed help in the classroom. So in the classroom, it was like I said, with little 3rd graders. So she was a good teacher. While she was up for it, just like this, they just. Then she would turn her back. While she had her back, they were pulling hair and pushing and everything. And I said, oh, because see, I have no children. There's no little people in my life. I had no little nieces and nephews at that time. She would turn around and stop. That's strange. What an impact. And then they would continue to do it. I finally told her, I said, I don't know how you do this. I didn't come back. It's too much for me. Ruby has patience. Patience of Job. That wasn't my fault, was it? All right. She has lots of patience. But not only does Ruby have patience, Ruby has integrity, intelligence, insight, compassion. She's a leader. She's your leader. Your leader for the future as a member of the Oxnard School District
trustee board. Now, just a few minutes ago, I called some first things about Ruby. I'm quite sure you were listening. So now it's time for the quiz. Don't worry, it's not a math test. Okay. The question is, first. That's the word, first. Now, what number does it represent?
1.
Anybody else? Speak up. I only heard 4 ones. Well, I know you all have. The ones who said 1, you are correct. That's because when it comes to November 4th, vote for 1. The one and only. 1. Ladies and gentlemen, vote for the Oxnard School District Board of Trustees, Dr. Ruby Durias, the one to make a difference in our future. I bring to you the quiet one in my family.
Thank you so much. I don't know how I can follow up with that, but I'd say I'm truly humbled and honored tonight to have each of you here, and you just don't know how it really makes me feel really good inside to know that I'm still behind me. I'd like to thank, I use my notes here. I'd like to thank my family, my brother-in-law, my sister for being there with me. I'd like to first of all thank my mother and father. My mother, raised me and mom. And as a matter of fact, my mom was on the committee to help elect Odessa Newman as Oxford School Board years ago. So she worked tirelessly with her. So she sort of like put it in us, I guess, in a way, if you want to say it that way. And I'd like to thank my husband, Nathaniel. Where's Nathaniel? Oh, right here. And thank my daughter, Kalila Durias. Kalila and Don are actually on my committee. Kalila's my manager, and Don is one of the other board members on the committee with me because he has a lot of influence. He knows just about everybody in the community here. So as I touch base with on my team here. And I'd also like to thank all of my committee members. Michael Hunt. Michael has more than 20 years, and he's actually my treasurer on the committee as well. And then Dory Jones. Here she is. And Dory is our literature expert. Dory looks at everything and edits everything and changes all the words around. So, oh, let's try this word. So she's awesome with that. I really thank each of you for committing to help me out with this. I'd like to thank all of my friends that are here tonight. I'd like to thank my union members here, Robin and Cheryl and Suzanne. Was it Suzanne and I started together in the district? Okay. And but she's a lot younger than I am. So so I've already retired. And Robin and I, we were also at Fremont together. I think you were a year ahead of us, right? But she was still younger. And then I have some other colleagues from French School. Cynthia Freebreast is here, and I just appreciate everybody. If I go off and start naming people, let me say, well, why should you say my name? Why should you say my name? So I gotta stop. I'm also endorsed not only by the Oxnard Teachers of Oxnard School District, but I'm also endorsed by the Ventura County Democratic Party, and I'm also endorsed by the Tri-Counties Labor union as well as cause action fund. I'm endorsed by it. And I really appreciate Mr. Davis O'Leary stepping in. He came in after Don had hit the introduction.
I endorse it too.
Mr. Davis O'Leary and Al also endorsed me, and they're on the board still, okay, on Oxnard board as well. Okay, thank you for coming tonight. Thank you. So, after 40 years of teaching mathematics to students at the primary, junior high, and university levels, I retired from teaching on June 19, 2014. So this evening, I stand before you as a candidate for the Board of Trustees of the Oxnard Elementary School District. My first teaching assignment was, as my sister so eloquently shared with you, was with a classroom filled with 30 third graders at Ruby Durias School in Oxnard School District. And she was there to help me out in class, as she said. And after only a few minutes, she had this to say, "Girl, you're gonna be crazy." And my sister was right. 30 third graders, or even more than that, which I hear now there's a classroom of second graders that has 36 in it. And way too many. And that's why I'm a strong advocate for the parents of class size reduction, especially for children in kindergarten to third grade, which is the grade level where we need the smaller class size so that the learning can take place, and not just classroom managing. You're not just controlling the students, you're actually able to teach when you don't have so many. Now, according to the LCAP local control formula, we are supposed to have 24 to 1, and our district did not elect to do that this year. They didn't even say that they were going to start moving towards it. So it's not just the teacher in me who believes in the value of smaller classes for our children. It is the parent. I want all of our children, every student in the Oxnard School District, to be able to unleash his or her own potential. And in order to do this, we must offer each student a world-class education, which can't happen if we have classes that are so stuck. So if I'm elected, I will try to bring it to the table and make sure we bring it to the table, because we're not in compliance. You know, we need to get in compliance and start. I'm not saying that it'll happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight, but we can gradually start getting those classrooms down to the size that they need to be. Okay. Second, if you elect me to Oxnard School District's Board of Trustees, I will make sure that the monies are meant for children make it to their classrooms. Classes led by highly effective teachers using up-to-date technology. So I want to be fiscally responsible with all the things, and I'll make sure that your taxpayer dollars are spent on educating your children. Thank you. I also know how important it is to focus on building strong relationships among our students and our teachers. Without a strong relationship, you know, Dr. Julian White's class used to always tell us that it's relationships that matter, and it is truly the relationships that matter. Relationship with the teachers, the parents, and the business community. That's why I believe in and support an open and transparent leadership. All stakeholders must be brought to the table to discuss and decide on key issues. It shouldn't be just someone deciding behind closed doors. We need to maybe have some kind of at the schools have some kind of, I thought of a word for it, but I forgot what I called it before. I didn't write it down. Checks and balances, those kinds of things. Also, we're getting ready to build some more new schools. And we don't have, as I understand, a lot of public labor agreements. I think that if we're going to be having these schools built, we need to make sure we're not only using the big construction companies that are coming in, but we need to have some kind of agreement so that we'll use some local labor.
the people from outside are not good, well, yeah, but we need to make sure we get a certain percentage, say, in our agreements, we need to come up with that. So if I'm elected, I will try to get that worked out as well. I also want to make sure we have make safety a priority for our schools. I know firsthand that sometimes you worry about when you see your child off to school and out into the world. We need to protect our children from the gangs and gun violence. And that protection can only come if we come together and get to talking with the groups that are involved. So our students, our children deserve a safe learning environment, a place where they will strive, free of fear and filled with dreams, born with self-confidence and self-respect. And we can do that, but it has to happen by us meeting and talking together, finding out some solutions to what is going on. So that is why this evening I'm asking for your vote, and thank you for your consideration for this. So at the polls, when you get a chance or when you have time, remember, I'm the one, Ruby Durias, Leadership for the Future. Thank you for coming, and appreciate everyone's attention for that.
I apologize for being late. We had an open house. Actually, we have 3 of them tonight. And I did have to go to the one that was the block of where I live, which is really very little excuse. So, but I had to be here as well. I'm endorsing Ruby because of what she stands for. I got to say, forgotten by many people. 3 years ago, when the new board came in, one of the first items that we voted on was to give ex-trustees health insurance for life. I was the opposition to that vote. It has nothing to do with our kids, it has nothing to do with our education, it has nothing to do with our community, other than maybe helping a couple of ex-trustees, who, by the way, might be at that point voted out of office. Class size reduction. I've been talking about that for a year, and I do know, actually, and this is per board policy, Mr. Al Duff seconded that he wanted to discuss this as well. Board policy is that the board president or 2 board members can bring an item to the agenda. Trustee Duff said he wanted to discuss this. I've been saying we want to discuss this. No, it is not on an agenda. So the direction that we've gone in, public labor agreements. For the last year, I've been saying I want to discuss public labor agreements. We need, as you say, we need to keep our jobs here, because guess what? The education of our kids has a lot to do with the social economic status of our kids. And if we can keep some of that money here local, hey. Well, I found out after a year of asking this, we're going to have a study session about public labor agreements. We're going to have a study session. It's not going to be a vote, and it's going to happen 2 weeks before the election. Can I say sincerity? So, you know, there are 3 positions up for election, and I don't want to say that I don't have any flaws. Thank God my wife is working right now. But to bring the focus back to our students, to our community, I'm supporting Ruby. And I do want to remind you that there are 3 positions that have really obstructed on these key issues. And it so happens I see 3 candidates here, but today's your day as well. So I strongly endorse Ruby to sit with me and get this done.
Okay, there we have it. And so, you have enjoy yourselves until 8 o'clock. But remember, sign up for volunteer. Get people out to vote. If you know people who are not registered, it's really easy. You can go on the Secretary of State's website and register to vote. Okay? Vote by mail is one of the most effective ways to do it. A lot of people who are registered won't go to the polls, but if they can get into the vote by mail system, it's real easy to do. That's the way I vote. Okay? So, let's have some fun. Just want everybody to understand that for young people who are 17 but are going to turn 18 before the election, they can also register to vote. They don't have to wait until they turn 18. Okay? And I always like to mention also that there are a lot of people in our community who are ex-felons, who don't realize that they can get their voting rights reinstated. This word has to get out to them to do that. None of their time, now they can act like all of us like.
And those people in county jail, they can vote too, if they're not a felon.
Right.
Misdemeanor, get packets out to them. If you have friends, relatives, neighbors that are in there, get packets out to them, the sheriff will distribute them. They can register to vote and vote by mail. They can't go to the polls.
Yeah, thank you.